This is a 2004 Town & Country, and I was having problems with this steering, power steering whine, so that when you turn it on, it makes this moaning and screeching kind of a noise, and especially if you're turning the wheel a little bit. So I did a bunch of research online, and I found out that it seemed like the most common fix for this is to replace the steering fluid reservoir, which is right here. And I was a little skeptical about that, but the more I read, the more I kind of thought about it. Is for about 20 to 25 bucks, you can get a brand new one, a MOPAR official replacement piece. And I thought, well, let's just go ahead and do it. So I ordered, I think it was about 24 bucks, free shipping, 22 bucks, something like that. And got it in a couple of days. And so anyway, the way I did it, unfortunately, I just kind of dove in and did it, and hands would have been too covered in power steering fluid to really have held the camera. So I'm just going to kind of show what I did. But the first thing I did is I got some of these lines out of the way. And you can see here's some of the throttle cables right here. And so what I did is I just disconnected them here, kind of bring them over and unloop them out of the fixture, and then undo two of the bolts right here for this bracket so it can lift out of the way. Took this apart and then moved those lines out of the way. I also just unplugged this part, which is essentially just moving this plastic piece back and pulling down on the clicker and pulling it off. So that came out pretty simply. And then the other part is there are two vacuum hoses in here. There's one right here. It's pretty tight, but it comes off. Feels like it's a cable in there, but I'm not really sure. Anyways, it comes off. There's no end that goes into the housing. And then there's the second one that's a little bit bigger, and that one just pulls off. There's no clamp or anything, so it comes off quite easily. So at that point, I then took off these three plug wires here, just pulled those right off so they're out of the way. So just try to clear it up as much as I could. And then it really got down to taking off the two hoses. There's only really a couple of hoses here. I did leave them on until I actually unbolted the unit as best I could. So let me show you where those are at. There's only two of them. So right here, there's one right here. As you can kind of see, it's just same as the throttle cable bracket. So there's one here, and there's one here. I think they're about an 8mm, 5/16, something like that. I can't remember what I used. And then the weirdest thing, I'm not sure why these designers did this, but they put I don't know if I'm even going to be able to see this down here. So there you can see it. So right in there, there's a little nut in there. It's 10mm, so it almost needs a deep well socket, but I got away with using a 10mm. I just wanted to kind of show how I angled that ratchet in there to get to that nut. So like I said, it's just a ratchet with an extension. I went under the larger line that goes to the power steering pump, and you don't have to completely undo it, but you do have to loosen it and back it off of the plastic so that it will release from underneath. So anyway, that was probably a difficult thing. Took a little trial and error, but I finally got it. It's really hard to see. Okay, so after I disconnected these two cables, disconnected these two vacuum lines right here and right here, and I disconnected these, I undid these two mounting bolts that are up here and the one mounting bolt underneath. I was able to get this thing loose and bring it up. So it's a pretty messy job. I used a siphon, a little plastic bulb with a line, and siphoned it from here. You can get a line down into the top of it, which I did. So you just poke it down in there and siphon as much of that out of there as you can, so maybe like a turkey baster or anything like that. Well, anyways, I got most of that out. Then I used a pair of pliers to pinch this line, clamp, and move that clamp off. And then this line twisted off actually pretty easily. And quite a bit of fluid will come out. Also, I used the pump to try to siphon down this hose, and I elevated the hose, but then tried to use the pump to suck it out. It didn't work very well. I ended up spilling quite a bit of it out. I'm not sure if there's even a better way to do it, but that's all I could figure out. The real problem though is once I had all that done, is I could lift this complete unit up here and kind of move it up where it was a little easier to get at, and working on this part. So this is this clamp here is it's pretty tough. So it's not hard to use a pair of pliers to compress the two ends together like this, and then you can wiggle it back. So that was actually pretty easy. So I moved the clamp back from here to about here to get it out of my way. I kind of got back about this far. So the hard part then was the hose was really kind of not corroded, but really stuck hard to the nozzle that's sticking out of the bottom of the pump. And I just basically used a pair of pliers around the hose. I tried to pat them as best I could, and I just twisted the hose one way and the pump the other way, and figured something was going to give, and it did eventually just slide right out of there, so I didn't have any problems with it. So that was really the disassembly. So once I did that, I kind of wanted to see what was going on in here. So I took a saw, and I basically just, it's on here kind of like this, and I just cut through it. I wanted to see what it was like, so I just went ahead and cut through it so I could get a good view on it. So inside of here, there's really nothing that spectacular. There is a little bit of an opening that goes down through there. It goes quite far into the reservoir. I kind of cut a little piece of it off, but it goes almost all the way down to the screen. The only thing in there that causes a lot of this noise, I think, is that the screen gets blocked, and that seems to be everybody's opinion, and I agree with that after I've looked at it. So down in there, you can see a lot of small shavings, and some of that's really from the plastic as I cut it. The saw just kind of did that, but what you can really notice is that kind of a black sludgy mess that's really covering that screen, and that is like a paste. So it's kind of granular, but when you look at it, it's really pretty pasty. And I can also see through the screen and see that there's more there. One thing that's kind of interesting about this is there's a small rectangular piece right there. It's kind of loose, but it's the way it's put together is it can't come out. There's no fitting. But it's a magnet. It's magnetized. So what will happen with that is that it's just going to cause any kind of particles that come from the steering pump through the reservoir and swirls around. Ideally, it's going to catch any kind of shavings or anything like that. So these are not so much shavings as it is corrosion and power steering fluid that might have kind of kicked loose some debris or a little bit of corrosion in the system. So it's not so much, I think it's acting more as kind of like basically like a filter. But that's it right there. That's all that kind of corrosion in there. And I thought people might want to see it because I hear about it, but not often do people really have ever taken it apart and kind of showed what that looks like. So this is the pump that I use. Kind of put the extra fluid in a jug there, which I'll get disposed of, and just a little small hand siphon. You can see a little bit in line there, and that's what I use to get it all out. Now the assembly really wasn't all that hard. I just kind of put it back basically in the opposite order, got it all together, and I did the new one came with a black cap. I wanted to keep the yellow because it kind of matches up with all the rest of it. It makes it easy to find out what you need to replace, so I hope that helps. I went ahead, and once I got done, I had a lot of power steering fluid all over the place, and so I used some engine cleaner and got that all out of there and hosed it down, and got it looking pretty good again. So there were a lot of recommendations on what to use as a fluid. It says power steering fluid, and I think there's actual power steering fluid specifically for that, but there's a lot of recommendations for using automatic transmission fluid formula. So that's what I did. I just got Mobil 1 synthetic ATF and basically refilled it with that. I ran it for about 5 minutes and then went ahead and stopped the engine, opened up the cap, siphoned out the reservoir as much as I could, and I kept refilling it. And so I did the initial plus 2 more changes after that to try to get as much of that old fluid out of there and have it replaced with the Mobil 1. So that's my fix for that problem. I put it together. It seems like it's been very, very quiet. Used it for the last couple of days, last 3 days, and haven't had a hint of a squeal since. I'm very happy with the outcome and just really appreciate all the advice that I got from the forums.